When you stop needing people, they start calling you dangerous. Not because you're broken, because you're impossible to control, and that terrifies them. Society tells you if you're alone, something's wrong with you. But here's what they're really saying: we can't use you anymore. The person who doesn't beg for attention, doesn't chase validation, doesn't need anyone to survive, that person becomes untouchable. You can't manipulate them with love. You can't guilt-trip them with loyalty. You can't buy them with empty promises. And people who can't control you will always call you cold.
If you feel like an outsider because you don't need constant company, if you wonder what's wrong with you because you choose silence over shallow conversations, stop right there. There's nothing wrong with you. You've just passed a test most people will fail their entire lives. Nobody becomes this way by accident. You trusted and got stabbed in the back. You loved and got used. You stood for people and they vanished when you needed them. But here's where it gets interesting. That pain didn't destroy you, it upgraded you. Those betrayals forced you to see what most people refuse to look at. People lie with smiles. Loyalty is often conditional. The only person you can truly count on is you. And once you accepted that, everything changed.
You developed something rare: pattern recognition. You don't just hear what people say anymore. You see what they mean. You don't just watch their actions. You read their intentions. Someone offers help, you sense the strings attached. Someone acts friendly, you notice the hidden agenda. This makes you dangerous because you can't be fooled, and people hate that they can't deceive you. So they call you distant, cold, hard to reach. But what you actually are? Protected. Boundaries aren't built by weak people. They're built by people who learned the hard way what happens when you let everyone in. You stopped being a doormat. You stopped being available to everyone. You started choosing. And the wrong people? They disappeared. That wasn't a loss. That was an upgrade.
Here's the most powerful truth. The person who can sit alone in complete peace is the freest human alive. They don't need parties to feel alive. They don't need constant texts to feel valued. They don't perform for validation. They're comfortable in their own presence. And that kind of freedom, most people will never experience it. Most people are terrified of being alone. That's why they stay in relationships that drain them, friendships that use them, situations that limit them, all because they're afraid of emptiness. But you conquered that fear, and now you're free. When you don't need anything from others, they can't control you with approval. They can't trap you with attention. They can't threaten you by withdrawing love. You move beyond manipulation. You can't be bought. You can't be pressured. You can't be forced into anything that doesn't align with who you are. That's why you feel dangerous to them. You have nothing to lose. But let's be clear, being a loner doesn't mean you hate people. It means you value your energy. You don't give it to just anyone. Maybe you have one or two real people in your life, but they're genuine, not based on convenience, based on truth. Because you've learned something most people ignore. Being surrounded by the wrong people increases loneliness. Being alone without the wrong people eliminates it. Quality over quantity, always. If this is you, remember, your peace is your power. Don't trade it for shallow connections. Don't lose it in unnecessary drama. Don't let anyone steal it with their opinions. People will talk. They'll say you've changed. They'll call you selfish. Let them. You don't owe anyone explanations. You know what you survived. You know what it cost you to reach this level of clarity. And not everyone deserves to understand that journey.
In the end, there are only two types of people. Type 1, those who dissolve into the crowd, always adjusting, always seeking approval, always afraid of standing alone. Type 2, those who walk their own path, quietly, independently, without asking permission.
Both paths exist, but they lead to completely different lives. The first is easier, but you lose yourself. The second is harder, but you find freedom. So if you feel different, if you walk alone, if you don't fit what the world expects, understand this. That is not a weakness. That's your strength. The person who can walk alone can go further than anyone else. They don't wait, they don't depend, they don't beg. They build their own path. They make their own decisions. They live life on their own terms. So trust yourself, protect your peace, recognize your strength. You're not broken, you're refined. And refined people, they're rare. If this hit different, you know what to do. Subscribe if you're ready to see yourself and this world differently. We'll talk again in the next one.